Halo Sobat Hipster, kembali dengan Gaje Hipster Gaming Jakarta, Pillars of Eternity to a Deadfire. Langsung kita menyambung dari episode sebelumnya ya, dimana kita menyelesaikan seorang karakter quest ya. Karakter untuk quest itu yang namanya Mariel the Mad, yang mana sesudah kita selesaikan tentu saja dia sekarang tidak lagi Mad, tapi dia sekarang Mariel the Dead gitu kan. Namanya udah nggak ada di peta kayaknya kalau dilihat ya. Anyway, ini juga perairan di sekitar Port Maje ini banyak ya. Biasanya selalu ada saja loot. Nah kayak ini apa ini? Ini DEWA. Ini kelihatannya seperti bangkai kapal yang kadang-kadang ada ceritanya juga sebesar. Jadi nggak melulu ada pegerangan.
The ring of a bell comes to you on a cold wind.
Nah ini.
The ring comes again and again until soon the air is full with the sound of 1,000 bells ringing all at once.
Ini mode cerita sebesar.
You feel a resonance in your core. A bell ringing in tune with all the others. Something in you bends, then breaks. And you are borne away on the ringing tide. Just another peal among the many. The tide of bells recedes. You lever yourself up onto your knees and realize you have been here before. You stand in Berath's realm. You are alone.
Oh.
And then you are not.
Wow.
An indistinct figure stands before you, flickering between forms like a fire-cast shadow. A fixed, taunting grin. Bottomless black eyes. A yawning chasm in the earth. The aspects of Berath, the Usher and the Pallid Knight, shift in and out of focus. And at their back, 4 indistinct shades hover. You feel an eternity stretch out behind each of them, reaching back to places so distant and yet so near you cannot comprehend their size. The shifting image of Berath settles on the aspect of the Pallid Knight.
Watcher.
Her voice is the discordant clangor of gongs struck out of time.
I tasked you to discover Eothas's intentions. Tell me what you have learned.
Ini dewa namanya Berath sebesar. Berath. Dia dewa kematian, tapi dia visualnya seringnya perempuan ya. Ini ada yang nomor 2. He's stomping around the Deadfire, yanking up souls like a... ini kita bisa pilih sih, kita mau responnya dengan gaya seperti apa. Ada yang clever, ada yang passionate. Nomor 2 ini passionate ya.
The Pallid Knight knits her brows.
He does not seek to return to the beyond? Intriguing.
Her sickly pale skin pulls tight across the bones of her face, as if the shell of this aspect does not quite fit the impossible creature it contains. The figure nearest Berath dissolves and reforms in the image of a thin-lipped ancient crone, whose face has felt the melting kiss of fire. The goddess Woedica strides forward.
Does Eothas frighten you, Berath? He should. Magran subdued Eothas's influence once before, and yet he returned.
From out of Woedica's shadow shuffles a hunched, bald man you recognize as the god Scan. His skin is mapped with swollen lash scars, and breath whistles through the ragged hole in his face, where his nose once was. He does not speak, but stares up at Woedica, with naked loathing plain on his ruined face. Woedica steeples her long, knob-jointed fingers.
We must annihilate Eothas now, before he makes a rash decision we cannot easily annul.
Okay, she casts a sly look at the Pallid Knight. Ini
A moon would do the job nicely.
Ini dewanya di sini jahat-jahat sebesar, dengan perkecualian 1 atau 2 orang ya. Ini kita bisa pilih mungkin nomor 4 ya. You will destroy Eothas for what? Spite? Karena dia bawa bulan gitu loh. Jadi maksudnya apa ini?
Woedica stares at you down her long nose.
I would destroy it all in the blink of your wide eye if I believed it would benefit me. Empires can be rebuilt. Souls can be reforged. Do not forget it.
The figure beside the aspect of Berath flows forward in a swirling cloud of ash. The ash falls to the tiles and reveals a molten-skinned woman, leaning on a monstrous, wicked-edged broadsword.
You are the kith who attempted to convince my priest Durance that I conspired with Woedica's mad ploy to seize power. You failed, of course.
Ini dewa api, Supervisor.
A ribbon of smoke curls from the corner of her mouth, and she turns her attention about to Woedica. Magran's glowing lips curl in disdain.
We must find a solution to the problem of Eothas that is neither do nothing, nor destroy the world.
Nanti saya jelasin, Supervisor.
I acted in haste during the Saints' War. You will not goad me into doing the same now. To move against him while his plans are unknown would be the height of foolishness. We must find wisdom in precaution.
Oh sure, great idea. Can I go now? Jadi ini politiknya para dewa, Supervisor, dan kita terjebak di tengah-tengahnya gitu ya. I don't care what you do, just put me back in my body.
The pallid knight tilts her head to the side and gives you the long-suffering, narrow-eyed look of a parent dealing with a particularly disappointing child.
No.
Another of the silent figures steps forward, and the warm, golden light of a summer's afternoon spills across your face.
Let's all take a deep, calming breath. Perhaps cooler heads will prevail.
Behind Helia's words, you hear the soft coo of doves.
Eothas has been separated from us for too long. Isn't it possible he intends only to gather enough souls to reclaim his realm in the beyond? He should be welcomed.
You look up then into avian eyes. Through them, you see clouds of starlings converge and divide.
Ini dewa yang paling mending, Supervisor. Bagaimana kalau dia merencanakan untuk mengkhianati kalian?
Helia puts a feathered hand to her chest.
He wouldn't. Betrayal is not in his nature.
Scan shuffles forward.
Yes, yes. We should welcome Eothas' return to the fold. His gratitude we can leverage to cajole him into divulging his plot. Then, when he believes himself to be in our good graces, we do as Woedica suggests, and crush him into the earth.
Scan pauses, inspecting you.
Ah, and here is the Watcher who wiped dear desperate Ali's mind. You could have let my followers help her kill the man who tormented her. But you did not. Curious.
Scan licks the ragged edge of his lipless mouth and grins, then turns to Helia.
I did not expect such a deliciously ruthless idea from you, Helia. I am impressed.
Helia's feathered crest stands on end.
You wretched little creature.
Mencoba untuk menghabisi Eothas hanya akan memperparah keadaan.
Your point is well made, little Watcher. If self-evident, Eothas has not been known to possess a vindictive nature. Indeed, he has occasionally been magnanimous to a fault. However, if we push him to the brink of reason, there is no telling what he may do. He is, as ever, unpredictable.
Something akin to fondness creeps into her voice.
Then what's the point?
The pallid knight gestures for silence.
Eothas cannot be killed, but he may be subdued. Yet to do so will take immense power and time. Both stand in his favor.
Magran grits her black glass teeth.
That is why we must ascertain his plans before he has the chance to put them into motion.
She begins to pace. Her steps leave little trails of fire in her wake. Magran stops and balls her hands into flaming fists.
Even if we manage to destroy his current form, there is the possibility he could return. if he has not already absorbed all of his children.
Children?
The pallid night casts a cold, cutting glare in Magran's direction.
Wah, ada apa ini?
Magran speaks too freely. That knowledge is beyond your ken, Watcher.
Woedica waves the gods to silence.
Eothas gathers strength. His strength is a threat to us.
Ancaman?
Her voice takes on a sharp, almost panicked edge.
There is no sensible answer to the question of a resurgent Eothas other than decisive, final action.
Oh, something must be done. Tidak ada alasan untuk bergegas sekarang.
Your opinion is unasked for, but noted.
The pallid.
We will act when it is appropriate to do so and not before.
The pallid knight steps away from the half circle of assembled gods. She pulls herself up to a great height. The words she speaks next come not from her mouth, but from all around you.
Follow him, Watcher.
The black of the pallid knight's irises expand until her eyes are as dark and cold as the void between stars. She bends down and brings her ghostly face level with your own.
Your debt to me remains unpaid.
Aduh, bawa utang nih. Ini sebenarnya ceritanya panjang banget, Sebaster. We'll see about that. Say nothing. This is bullshit.
She stares at you, unblinking. Like a needle drawn to a magnet, you are pulled toward her one compulsory step at a time. Helpless to resist, you tumble into her impossible eyes. You fall wildly, endlessly, unable to find your bearings or slow your spin. And in the distance, above, no, behind you, comes an insistent ringing. You angle yourself toward it, searching for the sound. A small silver bell appears just inches from your fingertips. You reach for it, straining to still its interminable ringing. The moment you touch it, your soul slams into your body with all the force of a fall from the top of the sky. You blink open your eyes and find yourself on the floor of your ship's cabin, alone.
Jadi kayak gitu, Sebaster. Jadi dia tuh kayak semacam ada episodenya gitu ya, si Watcher, karakter kita ya, yang disebut dengan profesinya unik Watcher gitu ya. Oke, jadi ini kembali ke ini sebetulnya di interior kapal ya, dan karena ada mode cerita itu semua partinya tuh dibongkar sama sistem. Itu nanti mesti kita masukin lagi manual ya. Tapi kita memang mesti ke sini juga, kabin juga, karena ternyata ada beberapa item bisa diambil ya. Bahkan ada ini unique item ya, Fragments of Whispers of Yenward. Ini kalau kita baca, ini sebetulnya ini senjata yang butuh dirakit gitu ya. Tapi mesti dibawa ke tukang reparasi, itu nanti ada itu kayaknya. Oke, sekarang kita ambilin yang bisa dipakai, yang perlu diambil ya. Itu tadi gimana itu, Sebaster? Itu tiba-tiba dia masuk ke, nah ini ada lagi, nah ada satu scroll, terus ada surat dari Alfra. Higaje, I hope this letter finds you in good health. It has been many summers now since you first arrived in Gilded Vale. Much has changed in those years. The gods have blessed me with a son. He is healthy and strong and already so curious. Ini adalah hasil dari karena saya pilih pasnya itu, jalan ceritanya itu dari game prequelnya, Sebaster. Kita karakternya saya orang baik, Sebaster. Jadi dia sempat menyelamatkan seseorang ya. Itu ada backstory-nya karena waktu itu mereka ada musibah ya. Ada anak-anak yang lahir yang disebutnya dengan istilah Hollowborn. Lahir tapi nggak ada soul-nya gitu loh. Itu nanti bisa dibongkar ya. Kayak kita di sini. Ini karakter yang lain kayak yang kru kapal ini bisa diajak ngobrol. Nggak bisa sih. Ini Delia yang kita rekrut kan. Tapi kalau yang companion ini bisa nih, kayak Eder pasti ya. Kayak Aloth gitu.
Hey, this brings back some memories, huh?
Hah? Oke, kita coba Aloth ya.
Thank you again for maintaining my story in front of Vanessa and the others.
Ini ceritanya lebih banyak kalau si Aloth.
I didn't enjoy deceiving them, but it seemed simpler than the alternative.
Simpler than explaining your involvement with the Leaden Key? Itu shady. Jadi agak-agak sarkastik gitu ya. Leaden Key itu sekte, Sebaster. Itu ada ceritanya di belakang banyak juga itu. Terus ini ada yang namanya Iselmir. Iselmir ini dia tuh kayak roh. Dan dia tuh inden di dalamnya Aloth gitu loh. Itu perempuan dan suaranya tuh cerewet gitu. Lucu, nanti dia kadang-kadang bisa kumat gitu Sebaster. Coba kita pilih nomor 2.
I hoped you'd understand. Believe me, I take no pleasure in duplicity.
Remind me, how did we know one another?
Ah, the steward told me about your incident at Cadnua.
Steward itu patung itu ya Sebaster ya.
Eothas took a piece of your soul. I suppose it's only natural to lose a few memories along with it. You and I met in Gilded Vale, shortly after your arrival in Deerwood and in the midst of my run-in with the locals.
Nah ini ada bagian yang detailnya kita nggak tahu Sebaster.
If that bampot was chafing his own mother's daughter, worth no ill of mine for noticing.
itu kumat dia. Itu ada si Iselmir. Jadi si Aloth ini dia kayak ada isinya gitu Sebaster loh. Dia kayak ada split personality gitu. I remember Iselmir accused a man of indiscretions with his own sister. Kayaknya ngomongin si Aloth ya, tapi kita nggak tahu detail ceritanya seperti apa ya.
Just so.
Malu-malu dia.
I was with you as you sought Theos and answers regarding your awakening.
Ini ada lagi yang namanya Theos X Arcanon, a member of the Angwithan civilization and Grandmaster of the Leaden Key, an organization devoted to keeping the secrets of the gods. Ini sekte tua, sekte kuno Sebaster.
And you helped me come to terms with mine. You hearken this? So many years and still he's cold as a crag in his teeth. I've learned to appreciate Iselmir's decisiveness, if not her way with words.
Itu yang tadi barusan si itunya lagi, si Iselmirnya itu. But we were talking about me. I'm glad you're doing better.
Back to our journey across the Deerwood. We pursued Theos and discovered the Leaden Key at the center of Widewind's legacy.
Ada lagi yang namanya Widewind's legacy. Ini adalah musibah Sebaster. A widespread blight of unknown origin in which babies in the Deerwood.
And, more importantly, a millennia-old conspiracy to conceal the true origins of the gods.
Jadi banyak yang terjadi di game prequelnya Sebaster. Ada wabah gitu kan. Ada urusan dengan dewa-dewa juga gitu kan. Di sini kita pilih apa ya? At least we ended the Hollowborn Scourge. I wish we could have restored the children of the Deerwood.
So do I. At your suggestion, I took up Theos's mantle after we parted company. I wanted to use the Leaden Key to improve the lives of Kith.
Kith ini adalah istilah umum untuk semua makhluk yang manusia dan Aumawa.
So for 5 years, I've been tracking down Leaden Key circles, searching for the places where they operate in secret, hoping they can be reformed.
Oke, jadi ceritanya dia mencari Leaden Key ya, mencari just make sure they can never again commit an atrocity like Widewind's legacy. You're doing the right thing. Kita pilih nomor berapa ya Sebaster ya? Ada yang clever, ada yang passionate ya. You are doing the right thing. Don't forget it. Itu passionate ya.
The task has been more difficult than I anticipated.
Oh ya?
I don't think I fully understood the weight of the decisions I would have to make, or the burden of living with them. It was much easier when I only had to follow someone else's lead. My father's, Theos's, yours.
Apakah itu yang terjadi? Easy, sure. I led you right into the prison of the gods. You had a sense of purpose. Is there some way I can help? Ada yang bisa kita bantu?
I wish I knew. After we defeated Theos, I thought the hard part of changing the Leaden Key would be tracking down its members and operations.
I thought it will be pulling off that headdress. Itu yang makanya dapat item itu Sobat Star. Itu yang lagi dipakai di si Eder.
Perhaps this would be easier with an example. I went to a village in Old Valia, a run-down backwater of a place. I rate home like it was.
Kumat lagi.
Centuries ago, the Leaden Key had intervened to end some heretical cult. The details were lost, but what had endured was a practice of ritual bloodletting. A gruesome, pointless tradition. At every full moon, the villagers would feed the soil with their blood. No one, young or old, sick or hale, was exempt.
Oke, jadi they must have had some purpose in mind. Jadi ada orang-orang di sebuah desa yang mereka punya kebiasaan aneh gitu dia bilang ya. Ada ritual darah katanya.
Yes, but the specifics depended on whom you asked.
Eder suka tradisional.
Some thought it would ward off Scan, or bring Berath's favor on the village, or Gon's blessing to their crops. I thought new leadership might guide them away from this practice. So I adjusted some of the deeds pertaining to the ownership of their land. It just so happened that a nearby Comtessa, a rather prosperous one, had a claim on the village, and the fertile fields around it.
Comtessa itu semacam bangsawan lah ya. Jadi clever.
I thought so, at first. The Comtessa annexed the village, as I'd planned. But she did nothing about the bloodletting ritual. And while it continued, she taxed the villagers to pay for the plantation she was building. And conscripted half of them to defend it.
Oke, jadi ini banyak yang menyudutkan dia. Kita pilih yang paling netral ya. You try to do the right thing, and that's what matters.
Is it? In the end, the villagers suffered more because of my actions. I keep wondering what I might have done differently, or how I could have known better.
Kelihatannya dia terombang-ambing Sobat Star. Jadi di sini biasanya bagian begini ini di mana yang kita pilih ini akan menentukan relationship kita dengan karakternya Sobat Star. Learning from mistakes like this is a good start atau stop dwelling on.
I suppose so.
Saya pilih nomor 2 Sobat Star.
I should get some rest. It's been a long day, and you've given me a lot to think about.
Oke lah, we'll talk more later then. Oke, jadi itu pun belum selesai Sobat Star. Itu belum selesai ya. Jadi itu nanti dia akan ada quest pribadinya yang kita bisa. Itu Aloth saya rencananya mau saya pacarin nih. Kebetulan MC kita perempuan gitu ya. Jadi kalau Eder kayaknya nggak bisa, tapi kalau Aloth kayaknya bisa. Oke, di lantai atas kita lihat ada siapa, ada beberapa kru ya. Ada Vela, Little Luca, Chitupek, Irena. Ini semuanya bukan companion, ini cuma kru kapal. Tapi kalau kita coba lihat ke sana.
One more time, Bella. Who be the Eye Queen Sea Devil of the Deadfire?
Molnage!
That she be, lass.
Ini si Vela ini kalau kita baca di Wikipedia, si Vela ini juga dia ada ceritanya. Itu dulunya dia baby Sobat Star. Jadi kenapa ceritanya dia bisa ikutan si Walter itu dulu dia termasuk yang diselamatkan dari wabah yang itu Hallowborn itu. Ngomong-ngomong ini kapal kita saya tadi lupa beli meriam Sobat Star. Ini jadi baru ada 2, jadi kayaknya bagusnya kita menghindari bentrok dulu. Tapi saya ingatnya itu pas hampir yang masuk episode ketemu Dewa itu udah ada kapal ini Beggar Wilfords. Ya dia benderanya Principe, berarti dia bajak laut ya. Nah ini saya masih atur ulang nih karena yang dimasukin itu urutannya berantakan. Ini saya nggak tahu nih karena kalau meriam baru 2, ini kita tarungnya tempurnya di mode kapal ini nggak begitu pede lah ya. Saya lupa lagi ini si Beggar ini kalau nggak salah sih memang masih gampang, tapi saya nggak tahu juga ini bisa lari nggak. Ini walaupun difficulty-nya baru 1, nah loh dapat aja disamperin. Oke, ini pertama kali kita masuk mode tarung kapal ya. Ini bisa kita lihat spesifikasi dari musuh. Dia malah untuk sekarang dia baru punya 1 meriam, jadi kayaknya ini kita bisa menang nih Sobat. Itu meriamnya tipenya Hawk Nose ya. Coba kita lihat punya kita sama juga Hawk Nose lah. Dan kita punya 2 gitu. Dua-duanya ada di body sebelah kanan ya. Ini akan berpengaruh ya pada saat combat ya, manuvernya ya. Oke, kayaknya kita bisa menang nih, tapi nggak boleh sampai tarung fisik bentrok kru ya. Harus kita selesaikan di mode kapal aja. Jadi ini nanti kita tembakin. Saya close in dulu ya. Oke, tadi kita di sebelah kanan ya meriamnya ya. Jadi yang bisa kita lakukan adalah kita putar ke kiri ya. Kayak gini Sobat. Nah, putar kiri. Nah, itu nanti baru nembak. Oh, tapi dia nembak duluan. Kena hal 4 poin. Oke, nggak apa-apa, meriamnya cuma 1, dia jalan. Jadi kita tadi baru putar, kita hold dulu ya untuk menambah akurasi ya. Memang harus hold dulu 1 putaran. Langsung nembak pun juga bisa, tapi ini 85% sekarang. Jeger 8 poin. Dia nembak. Kena ke layar Sobat, bukan kena ke hal. Oke, jadi saya nggak muter nih ya, karena meriamnya cuma di satu sisi. Akhirnya saya hold saja ya. Hold lagi. Dia ngapain dia putar? Nggak tahu saya. Mau lari dia ya. Oke, berkurang sedikit akurasinya, tapi 1 miss ya. Oke, nggak apa-apa. Dia kapalnya agak gede ya, dia putar 1 kali itu makan dua kali jalan Sobat. Itu bisa dilihat ya di kotak-kotak itu ya. Saya coba pepet sedikit. Kayaknya dia mau lari. Saya nggak mau dia lari karena kapal saya udah kena damage gitu loh. Mesti dapat lootnya Sobat, jangan sampai dia lari. Saya merapatkan jarak. Oh, dia putar, dia mau nembak lagi ya. Meremnya ada di sebelah kiri tadi kan. Oke, kita jabanin, kira di sebelah kanan. Berarti saya putar yang sebelah kiri. Hold. Dia hold juga nggak? Oh, hold, dia mau nembak berarti. Ayo kita saling tembak. HP dia udah di bawah ya. Tembak. 7 tambah 7 14 Sobat. Tinggal 10 poin halnya. Dia nembak. 5 poin ke hal. Oke, ini bisa langsung diselesaikan aja ya. Hold. Ini bisa langsung selesai nggak? 85% akurasi. Oh, nggak selesai, tapi karena krunya. Nah, itu dan itu yang terluka, itu yang pegang meriam. Jadi dia mesti ganti. Kalau dia nggak ganti formasi, dia nggak akan bisa nembak gitu. Berarti kita keuntungan ya, advantage 1 putaran. Nah, dia harus ganti orang gitu. Halnya tinggal 3 poin ya, tanggung banget gitu ya. Oke, dia langsung nembak nggak? Oh nggak, dia hold dulu ya. Saya hold lagi ya, atau brace for impact ya, karena putaran berikutnya dia akan nembak, kita tahu ya. Oke, 6 poin ke hal, tapi jauh ya. Langsung kita habisin aja ya. 2 meriam nih pasti masuk lah ya. 70%. 9 poin ke hal. Dan Sobat, itu ya bisa dilihat ya, itu ada akurasi damage segala macamnya itu. Oke, ini tadi kita disamperin ya. Untung ini termasuk yang pertama yang paling gampang banget ya, karena soalnya kalau dapat yang ada yang kapalnya bisa sampai 4 meriam di masing-masing 2 sisi kapal gitu Sobat. Oke Sobat, dengan demikian kita menjemput tenggat waktu durasi 30 menit. Untuk episode sekarang kita harus break dulu. Sobat, kalau senang dengan gameplaynya jangan lupa di-share ke teman-teman. Pastikan juga kamu subscribe ke channel. Untuk video sekarang kita cukupkan dulu sampai di sini. Terima kasih sudah bersama Gaje dan salam hipster.